Hello everyone and welcome back to another book review. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Origins of the Anglo-Saxons, Decoding the Ancestry of the English by Jean Manco. Manco? Yes, Manco. So this book was very interesting. I would definitely recommend it if you're interested in history of the Anglo-Saxons or just history in general. And it was very, very accessible to the lay reader, which I really enjoyed. So I feel like this topic, Anglo-Saxons, could be very broad and could definitely encompass a lot of stuff and could quickly get very technical to the point where your average reader wouldn't be able to understand it and it would just become very technical. But I feel like the author did a really good job in this book of keeping it very interesting and very accessible to the average reader who doesn't have a lot of history in it. So the first thing that she did was she included there's lots of illustrations and pictures included, as well as lots of maps. The maps I thought were really well done, because sometimes I have a hard time, when you're reading a book and there's a lot of places mentioned, you're like, okay, where is that again? I'm going to have to go look it up. I'm going to have to see how far these things are. And by including lots of maps, which not only included places, but also showed like extents of things, I feel like it became very easy to visualize a lot of things that would otherwise be would be more difficult to visualize by just reading, okay, the northern extents here, the southern extents here. By having a visual, I think it was a very easy way to see what she was talking about. Second, I really liked the fact that in this book there were these little call-out sections, which, or I don't know what you'd call it, breakout sections, which would go deeper into something discussed in the main portion of the text. I thought these were really interesting and well done, and I enjoyed it. And third were these overview sections. So at the end of every chapter, she would have the main topics of the chapter put in these little bullet points, which I actually really liked. The bullet points are probably the big seller for me. I would love it if all general reader nonfiction books had those bullet points at the end of the chapter. I feel like it kept things very accessible to the average person, and it also made you recall what you read in the chapter. I feel like sometimes when you read a chapter, there's a lot of concepts and the big idea could be lost when reading through all of that. So having those little overview bullet points at the end of every chapter was really helpful to remind me of what I had just read or what the key takeaways were. And also I feel like, yeah, it just kept you focused on the main topics. Again, these were in all the chapters and they were just really well done, I thought. Overall, this book covers kind of the history from like where the Anglo-Saxons came from, their history, the way they came to England, their influence while they were there, how they thought of themselves, how they influenced the English language, their association with their previous pagan religion, and also their conversion to Christianity. All these topics are covered and talked about, and they're arranged in a very logical format. I felt like the way that the author arranged the topics were really well done. I feel like the way the topics were addressed were really well done. So I liked the way the book was laid out. I liked the way the chapters were laid out. I liked the overview points. I liked the inclusion of maps. I liked the call-out text. This was just a very well done book. The way that the chapters were arranged, the way the information was presented was very clean, was very neat, was very accessible to someone who doesn't have a whole lot of technical, historical, or history knowledge. So someone who hasn't in-depth studied the Anglo-Saxons at like a undergrad or graduate level would still be able to pick up this book and understand all the points that Jean Manco wanted you to understand. So I think that was really well done. And I feel like when authors have a very specialized knowledge of a topic or have done a lot of research on a topic and then would like to convey that to the average reader, sometimes they can get lost in their technical descriptions of things. But this author did a really good job of taking all her technical knowledge and boiling it down to something that was very understandable, which is definitely a challenge when you have all that technical background and you need to now simplify for a general reader. Another thing that this book did a really good job of is kind of giving you enough information to know what you needed to know, but if you wanted to go deeper into something, you definitely had the knowledge and the information there to go search out books then that were going to be associated with the topic. So if you like learning about like a king or something that was mentioned, then you could go search that king on your own time and find a book on it, but you knew what you needed to know for the history to continue in this book, which I thought that like paring down of information while also opening you up to enough knowledge to go read more about it on your own time if there was a topic in here that you found interesting, to be very well done. The balance of information was really well done. So overall, I would give this a 4-star. This is a really good book. I have to recommend it. If you're interested in history in general, you should give this one a read. I feel like It's well done. The book is just well put together, and I really can't complain about anything in it. Very, very interesting, very well done. A great book. So yeah, if you've read this book or have any thoughts on it, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. If you have any more suggestions on the Anglo-Saxons, I'd love to read more about them, so definitely suggest them. I will look them up and see if I can get my hands on those books. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.